Today, you will identify what we call biological processes, or BPs, in sentences in a consistent way so that a machine learning algorithm can learn how to extract these BPs from given sentences and compile them for submission to the biological database Gene Ontology, or GO. You will not have to define where the BP is in each sentence, only decide whether or not the sentence contains one. There are 2 steps to follow when deciding whether a sentence contains a BP, as well as several rules to remember on what is and is not a BP. The first step is the easier one. BPs are biological processes and can only be found in sentences in the field of biology. Sentences talking about physics, art, or social sciences should be marked in. For example, the first sentence here talks about RNA and histones. These are clearly subjects in the field of biology. The second sentence, however, talks about communication systems and something called Raman scattering. These are not biology terms. Now on to the second step. To decide whether or not a sentence contains a BP, you must first understand what a BP is. According to Go, the database we are using, a BP is a collection of molecular events with a defined beginning and end. The easiest way to identify BPs is to look for the root of the BP, or its keyword. Keywords will always be nouns, as BPs must always be nouns or noun phrases. A few keywords you may see a lot are growth, pathway, signaling, and so on. Some common keywords are listed here, and this table can also be found in the rules document linked below this video. However, there are many more possible keywords than we could list here in one table. If you're trying to decide whether a keyword not listed in the common keywords table is a valid keyword for a BP, the best thing to do is to search for it in Go. The link given here, which links to a fast search page for Go, can also be found in the rules document linked below this video. Here is an example where we have searched for the word pathway from an identified noun phrase, see AMP signaling pathway, using QuickGo. The terms returned all contain the keyword pathway, and they are all BPs, as indicated by the circled pink Ps. The abundance of BPs in Go containing the keyword pathway confirms that our own phrase with the keyword pathway is also considered a BP. Here are some more examples. The first sentence here has 2 BPs. The first, histone acetylation, contains the keyword acetylation, which gives valid BP search results in QuickGo. The second BP is one word, transcription, which is listed in the common keywords table and also appears in BP results when searched for using QuickGo. The second example contains the keyword phosphorylation. This word also appears as a BP in a QuickGo search. Mark this sentence as Y. The third example is different. Pupil response is not a biological process. If you search for pupil response in Go, you will not get any results. This sentence does not contain a BP because it discusses a measurement, not a process. Mark the sentence as in. Here are 3 examples containing noun phrases not categorized as biological processes. The first sentence here is not a BP. Instead, it is a molecular function, as the word activity always means molecular function. Mark this sentence as in. The next sentence talks about saliva levels, which are considered traits, not processes. This sentence should also be marked in. The last sentence discusses disease states. Biological processes are processes considered normal for an organism. Conditions which are irregular for an organism, such as hypertension or dysfunction here, are not BPs, but rather phenotypes arising from the disease state. So, this sentence should also be marked in. Definitions of phenotypes, traits, and molecular functions can be found in the linked rules document below this video. Here are some tips to keep in mind concerning what is and what is not a BP. Firstly, BPs must always be noun or noun phrases. A verb such as stimulates, while implying a process, is not a noun and cannot be considered the B keyword in a BP. Also, BPs are processes inside an organism on a molecular or system level. Phrases discussing things such as running or other movements of an entire animal are not BPs. There are 2 points which may seem tricky. The first contains the word expression. Though gene expression is categorized as a BP in Go, usually when it is mentioned in these sentences, it refers only to the levels of expression of a gene and not the process of expression itself. Gene levels are considered phenotypes, not processes, so unless it is very clear that the sentence discusses the process of gene expression, you can mark any sentence about gene expression as in. The second tricky point is the word regulation. Sentences which mention regulation of a specific thing, such as regulation of growth, should be marked Y. However, regulation by itself is not a BP because it is not specific enough to give any useful information as to what the process may be. The same rule goes for something such as protection, mentioned alone. We will finish this video with a few more key examples. The first example on this slide concerns the idea that BPs must be nouns or noun phrases. Myotube formation here is a noun phrase, so this sentence should be marked Y. However, if the sentence did not have this phrase, it would be marked in, because the words protects and proliferating are not nouns, and so cannot be BPs. The next sentence here is another example of this. Produced is not a noun. This sentence should be marked in. The last example here is a sentence that talks about gene expression. Remember, gene expression is usually mentioned only in reference to expression levels, a phenotype. This sentence should be marked in. The first sentence here is an example of a noun phrase which concerns the movement of an entire organism. Wheel running is on an organismal level and not a BP. This sentence also contains the phrase aerobic capacity, which if searched for on QuickGo using the word capacity gives no BP results. So, this sentence should be marked in. The next sentence here is a strange corner case. Meta release gives no similar examples on Go, so should not be marked as in. The last sentence here contains the common keyword growth. You should mark this sentence Y. Let's look at just 3 more examples. The first here contains the keyword release. You should mark this sentence Y. The second sentence here is another gene expression example. Neutrophil integrin expression here refers to the level of expression and is not a BP, so this sentence should be marked in. Lastly, our final example here concerns anesthesia, a medical technique. Techniques of any kind, such as medical or imaging, are not BPs. Mark the sentence in. These guidelines should give you a good understanding for how to identify BPs in sentences. More examples, explanations, and corner cases can be found in the rules document linked under this video.